doesn't mean you did anything wrong, but it means that now sometimes when we go all day and we say, man, I talked all day and I didn't get a sale. And we think, well, maybe it was the leads. Maybe I'm not a good closer. Maybe I wasn't following the system. Sometimes the answer, quite simply, you weren't in a position. You talked all day, but you were never really in a position to make a sale because either you couldn't finish, either the decision maker wasn't there, all the decision makers that you need weren't there. You never really straight up asked them, do you want it or not? They never really straight up answered, are they going to get it or not? So it was just left in limbo. And then the reason that you need to at least ask, you can't make a person give you referrals, but you have to ask for referrals every single time, sale or no sale, because sometimes the sale that you're looking for in the PEC, in the front of the PEC, that's not where your sale is. Sometimes the sale that you're looking for is in the referrals. Make sense? So sometimes you had a complete explanation of the entire program in the presence of all relevant decision makers, to which you received a yes or a no to your offer of insurance. You did all that, and the client said, nope, I don't want to do it. So your sale was not in the front of the PEC. Your sale lives back here when you're like, all right, well, if you don't want to do it, you know anybody that I could talk to? And they're like, well, call my sister. So sometimes the sale isn't with the person you're talking to. The sale is with the person that they know. Everybody got that? But the reason that you want to collect PECs is that in the pursuit of 6 PECs a day, in the pursuit of that, you'll have a 15-minute conversation with this lady that has to stop because she needs to go and she forgot she had a doctor's appointment, and you try to talk to her and she's, no, I gotta get off the phone to get dressed. All right. You have a 30-minute conversation with this client who says, this sounds really good, but I want to talk to my daughter about it. All right. Then you have an hour and a half PEC. You don't sell anything, but you collect 2 referrals. Okay. Then you have another 2-hour PEC. This one actually turns into a sale. Great. Then you have another hour and a half PEC. This one turns into a sale. They refer you to somebody else. You talk to them for 45 minutes. They turn it to a sale. And next thing you know, in the pursuit of 6 PECs, sometimes it turns to a PEC, sometimes it doesn't. You pick your head up, and what have you accomplished without even thinking about it?
Talk time.
Talk time. See how that works?
Totally.
Sometimes the way you catch your talk time is to chase the PECs. Everybody got this concept again? Sometimes the way that you catch, it's like, I got 9 hours of talk time. How in the world did I do that? Well, it's because you ever hear me say that when you get getting referrals reduces your what? There's a specific stat that getting referrals reduces. Anybody know what that is?
Your dials.
Your dial time. One of the ways to get ridiculous talk time, great, wonderful talk time, without having to have ridiculous dial time, is if you can get the person that you're talking to get you in touch with somebody else that they know. Because now I might have to dial an hour to find their sister and get their sister to pick the phone up. But if they dial their sister and say, hey, I got somebody on the phone I need you to talk to, that cut my dial time down to 30 seconds. Because now Mary is going to call her sister Sue, and Sue is going to pick up because she sees Mary on caller ID, and she's like, what's going on? And then when Mary introduces me, I didn't have to take another hour of dialing to find somebody to talk to. I went from this conversation, sale or no sale, I don't care if I sold them or not. I went from this conversation to another conversation in 60 seconds. Does that make sense? Now, when Sue when I finish, whether I sell Sue or not. I met Sue because Mary, her sister Mary, introduced me to her. So now it's going to make perfect sense when I tell Sue, hey, you know how Mary introduced me to you? And she's like, yeah. Well, that's the way our program works. Who can you introduce me to right now? So then Sue goes, well, I don't know, let's try my cousin Jeff. Now I go from Sue to Jeff, and I don't have to waste another hour trying to find somebody to talk to because Jeff picks the phone right up because he recognizes his cousin on caller ID. And then either I sell him or I don't. But then I say, hey, Jeff, you know how I just met you? Because your cousin Sue referred me to you? Yeah. Well, that's the way our program works. Who can you introduce me to? You guys understand the concept? This is, by the way, is how I made a lot of my money in the insurance industry back in the day. You guys follow the concept? I spend my dial time to get that first person on the phone because I can't get around that. Everybody got it? So if I got to take an hour to get that first person on the phone, great. But once I get that first person on the phone, my mission was to get that person to get me on the phone with somebody else. Now, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. If it didn't work, no big deal. Thank goodness I've got an unlimited supply of free TCPA compliant leads that I can press the button and call and get somebody else on the phone. Thank goodness. I don't have to walk around outside and door knock. I don't have to put my business card up at the beauty salon and hope somebody grabs it. I don't have to go down to the store and do 30-second commercials. Thank goodness I can sit in the safety and comfort of my home, press a button, have another lead pop up. But every lead was a seed. Every lead was a seed for a referral tree. Everybody got that? So I never looked at the leads as, okay, well, now I can just dial all day for 13 hours and hopefully talk to some people. That's not the way I played the game. Now, if I had a day where, hey, nobody wants to give me referrals, it's not that I was above it. If I had a day that people didn't want to give me referrals, okay, great. This is a grinding day. I am going to be on this phone 14 hours and I am going to have to dial an hour to get somebody to pick up. And yeah, that's the way I got to play it. Sometimes, you play the game that's in front of you. So all I can do is dial, get somebody on the phone, and ask them for referrals. Sometimes they say yes, sometimes they said no. They didn't say yes all the time. Please don't believe that because it's not true. But they didn't say no all the time. Please don't believe that because that's not true. Make sense? They didn't say yes all the time. I'm going to keep it real with you. They didn't just say yes, but they didn't say no all the time. So what does that mean? It means that I would get somebody on the phone, and sometimes they would put me on the phone with somebody else. And I'd be like, yes. Or even if they didn't put me on the phone with somebody else, they gave me a very powerful call or a very powerful voicemail. Who knows what that means? So I say, hey, can you introduce your cousin? They call the cousin. Cousin's not there. All right. But how do I get a very powerful voicemail out the deal?
Voicemail.
So think about it. The client called their cousin. The cousin's not home. The cousin looks at their voicemail. Whose name is going to be on that voicemail when the cousin looks?
The cousins.
The
The
cousins.
other cousins. Are they going to check that voicemail?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So now I've already told the client, hey, if they're not home, just introduce me. So the client's like, hey, Billy, I know you might be at work, but I got somebody you want to talk to. He's really cool. And then Mr. Stewart will take over. Thank you, Miss Jones, for introducing me. Hey, cousin Billy, I'm the insurance man. I can't go into detail. I was able to help because I can't give details based on HIPAA laws, but I've got some programs that are really important. You really want to talk to me because I've got some programs that can help you get a check or create checks for other members of your family. My number is 404-372-7765. Give me a call or when you see that 404 area code calling you today, that's me. Save me in your phone as the check guy, right? So now it's like the cousin's like, I don't know what this is. So guess what the cousin's gonna do?
Call the
The
cousin.
cousin's gonna call the other cousin back and be like, who's this man you got leaving this? What was going on? You and this guy left this voicemail. What was going on? Then the cousin does my whole presentation for me. Oh, well, that's the insurance man. Well, does he have good insurance? I mean, I think so. He talked to me about this or that and how to get a check and yada yada. Okay, that client's half sold. They're half sold already. When I call back and that client answers the phone, I already know what. The mere fact that they answered tells me what.
That you can talk to him?
They're at least
They're
halfway
interested.
interested,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I know the
You can
other
presume.
cousin already told them my whole presentation, and they know who I am because I'm calling. So when they pick up, they're interested. That's why my conversion rate used to be so high off of my voicemails because if it was almost like a screener. If I put the voicemail out there, told them what the deal was, called the person back, and they picked up the phone, I already know. If you know I'm the insurance man and you know I'm calling, if you're not interested, you won't pick up. If you do pick up, you're interested. See, are you guys following this?
Oh, yes.
So then what would happen is between me calling a client and then getting that client to put other clients on the phone, and then getting that client, if I couldn't get the person on the phone, leaving these power voicemails all over town. There were days I could easily leave, and I'm not exaggerating, 15 to 20 power voicemails on any given day. Because if somebody doesn't pick up the phone, and I would go, okay, well, let's try this. I'm talking to Mary. Let's try to get 4 people on the phone. Either I get one of them on the phone, or I end up leaving 4 voicemails. See how that goes? And I would just keep doing it. All right, well, let's see if can you think of anybody else? So I don't care if I left 8 voicemails. If I tried 8 times and 8 people weren't there, I still got 8 voicemails with somebody else's number on it. Or if I wasn't able to do that, if all I could do was get the person to give me the name and the number. So now I called the client, I was still able to either get them on the phone or leave them a power voicemail. Hey, how you doing? I'm not a telemarketer. This is the voicemail. Your cousin asked me to give you a call. Your cousin Jeff asked me to give you a call. Let me explain what this is all about. I help people get checks, yada, yada. About if you give me a call, I can give you some more details. Either I got somebody on the phone, either I got a power voicemail with that person's name on caller ID, or worst case scenario, I had the ability to leave a message using the power of the referrer's name. So now I'm making outbound calls, I'm taking live transfers, and I'm planting these seeds all over town. You think I had a lot of big days? Yep. You think my day was easier than other people's? Yep. Because I would create inbound traffic. I wanted live transfers coming in. I wanted referral calls coming in. I wanted people returning voicemails coming in. And then I didn't waste any time going out. While all this stuff was coming in, I was like a machine calling out on the outbounds. Was I churning and burning leads? Nope. Because I was following the PEC, but I wasn't wasting time in between dials. So I didn't dial and then have somebody yell at me and then take 15 minutes to try to relax, relate, release, go make myself a cup of coffee. I didn't care about any of that. I cared about, can I get somebody on the phone? Can I get that person to get me on the phone with somebody else? If I can't, can I get that person to help me leave a voicemail? If I can't, can I get that person to give me a name that I can call and get that person on the phone? If I can't, can I leave a power voicemail using the power of their name so I can create inbound traffic in addition to my live transfers, in addition to my outbound calls, calling efficiently because I didn't want to be excited about a $4,000 check every once in a while. I didn't want that. I wanted a $4,000 or $5,000 check every week because 5,000 times 50 is $250,000. You see how to make that 250,000 now? Do you understand it? Are you gonna listen and be like, oh, that sounds cool? Or are you gonna do it? Because that's the difference. Anybody, I just gave the secret. Anybody can do it. Anybody that wants to make a 250,000, I just told you exactly how to do it. You call, all right, you get somebody on the phone, you get that person again, and then all of a sudden, you get 9 or 10 hours. I'm not exaggerating. You get 9 or 10 hours a day of talk time without killing yourself, because all that's happening is instead of having to spend half of your day dialing, like, I spend 5 hours dialing in order to talk to people for 5 hours. That's how many of your days are. You spend 5 hours dialing in order to find 5 hours of talk time. My day was exactly the same. You and I were working the same amount of time on the clock. I just had more talk time because while you were dialing to find your next person, I was talking to somebody. That's the only difference. So if I'm talking to twice as many people as you, who's going to make more money? It doesn't matter. If you've got I can have better sales skills than you. But every day you talk to twice as many people as I do. No matter how good of a closer I am, guess who's going to win every day? You are. So if you turn your dial time into talk time by using the referrals, that's why a PEC is a complete explanation of our entire program in the presence of all relevant decision makers, to which you receive a yes or no to your offer of insurance and request what?
Referrals.
Every single time. Sale or what?
No sale.
No sale. Because sometimes the sale I'm looking for isn't with the person I'm talking to. The sale I'm looking for is with the person that they know. You got it? All right. Let's see if you got it.